Rap News, Street Politics, the best hood channel on YouTube, in the San Gabriel Valley with them Grove Side gangsters, Southside Puente 13, coming out the city of La Puente. Now, news just broke, the feds are still in LA County building cases on some of the most active hoods in the streets out here. And La Puente 13 is definitely one of the most active sets, not only in San Gabriel Valley, but in LA County as a whole. And these dudes have been outside playing ball, and the feds have been watching them serving their enemies, kidnapping people, and putting gun and drug advertisements on social media, leading to them working with 6 confidential informants out of the ATF off of Instagram. And you know, all the details in this situation are allegations set forth by the federal government. These dudes are innocent until proven guilty. This information is what the feds say they saw. Now, there's been a total of 13 different complaints with 16 people going down in the feds in a situation that the feds are calling Operation Burning Bridges. Now, as you may see in association with Southside Puente members, you may see that word bridge. Puente means bridge in Spanish. And back in the 50s when Puente was derived, they were going by Bridgetown Gentlemen. So that name is clearly stuck with them, and it's stuck with the feds because they've been following their informants all through La Puente, Pomona, Covina, and various spots of the San Gabriel Valley. They tapped these dudes' phones, and some of the confidential informants were mic'd up. But like the feds do, they got a front row seat to these dudes getting cracking on their enemies, and we seen some crazy shit in this paperwork that the feds are alleging these dudes from Southside Puente was on with the neighborhood Crips and with Blackwood Street on some internal conflict shit.
When you shoot 2 at a time, it's the fundamentals. We could do this shit alright if we got a rental. I'm just saying, made it happen, it wasn't accidental. If we score tonight, by tomorrow we'll be presidential. Big us, so my niggas from that east side, from the same gang, but I represent that beehive.
So we see the feds got everybody's faces blasted on screen, but some pictures are floating around of an individual named Isaac Frost, aka Ghost. And the reason he stand out right now is because he was caught on May 2nd of this year, 2025, 5 a.m. at that H&H Liquor off Glendora and Mintz behind Hacienda Boulevard. He pulls up over here with his little brother and one of the big boys, Lucky Sanchez, aka Debo, who also went down in this federal complaint. And I say complaint because the indictment has not dropped yet. The feds have pushed the paperwork, baiting the probable cause to go ahead and wrap these dudes up in a RICO over here. But Ghost jumps out with his little brother, who's an underage individual, who the paperwork refers to as AE. The young dude jump out, start blasting the liquor store, Vadio Puente 13, Ballista Street. Now, Ballista Street, the same clique as Rowdy Racks, who's putting it on with the music coming out of San Gabriel Valley. This is one of the most active cliques in Southside Puente. And somebody we see heavily in Rowdy Racks videos is the other big boy, Debo's brother, Pollo, Victor Sanchez, who also went down. We're going to speak on him shortly. But the feds catch these dudes on surveillance, hidden up. Ghost jumps out with the stick to protect his little brother while he hidden up, and he sees a black dude across the street, again, 5 a.m., vacuuming his car. It's a self-service car wash right across from this liquor store where these dudes was at. Now we know Puente got a lot of enemigos over here. Bassett Grande, Felinda Flats, they got internal problems going on in their hood, and they beefing with West Covina neighborhood Crip. So right here on Glendora and Hacienda, this is close to the borderline that they share with West Covina neighborhood. So when Ghost sees this black dude, he decides to approach him, bang on him. But instead of just keeping it with the gang banging, the surveillance video catches him say, not only the diss to the neighborhood Crips, but also the diss with the hard ER on it to the black community. Now, the black dude at the gas station may have or may not have been gangbanging. He may have been from West Covina. It doesn't specify in the paperwork. But again, that usage of the hard ER puts a spin on it outside of the gangbanging shit. And this is the thing that we've heard previously with dudes from Puente in that situation with Drex the Joint. When some people was around him, allegedly from Puente 13, that said that hard ER and got him in some hot water. But this is not new to this section. We heard El Monte Flores, when they was on Rodney and LA channel, what they had to say about being NK. Now, I've heard different variations and different reasoning of people explaining what the NK stood for, whether it was Asians or whether it was blacks. Either way, it gets real racial over here, and the black dude that was vacuuming his car felt that. He got up in his whip, Ghost start getting off on him as soon as he pulled off over here, with everything being caught on surveillance camera. And that's what led to a couple of these pictures where everybody's seeing this dude in that denim tears hoodie pointing the stick. He was getting off on the neighborhood Crips and getting off on some racial shit over here in Southside Puente hood. Now, since everything was caught on surveillance the same day, May 2nd, 2025, police spotted a black Honda Accord with his little brother AE in it, pulled it over. AE got out on foot, and they found a weapon that matched the bullets at the scene on Glendora Hacienda. And this how some of these dudes from Beliza Street is getting down. It's cracking.
La Puente, huh?
Yeah.
Then you got that shit blasted on your shit.
I got a big Virgin Mary about this big on my back with 6 black roses with evil eyes under each rose for forgiveness for those 6 people I took off the earth. I'm not bragging about it. It's just that I have to carry that around in my conscience. My worst one is when I went, I just look at, and that fucker fell. That plays in my head all the time.
But we gotta start it from the beginning of this investigation when the feds start looking at these dudes early 2023. Now, these are somewhat follow-up investigations to other indictments that didn't drop on Puente Trece over the years. 2018, 17 other individuals went down in an indictment over here where they was getting busy with their identity theft, bank fraud, drugs. They was getting to the chili over here in San Gabriel Valley. The feds paid them a visit back in 2018. But they really made the feds' radar in 2013 with Rafael Cisco Munoz Gonzalez, a stamped and inducted Mexican mafia member coming out of Puente Trece, the representation for these guys over here. Now, we're going to get into that indictment later, but they had some things in here that was somewhat of the precursor to what we going to see in this indictment. Cisco and them niggas was rolling around with a grenade over here in the San Gabriel Valley, and in 2025 they back with the heavy artillery selling to the ATF. Now, La Puente has the biggest gang injunction in LA County. For everybody that doesn't know where this situation is, it is still LA County, and I would say, depending on what part of LA you going to, it's about 30 to 45 minutes to downtown and the gutter of South Central. But as you can see, this shit can go down anywhere at any time with any one of these hoods. Now, the feds say at this time, Puente Trece got between about 600 and 700 members, a lot of young foot soldiers, and they're said to be broken up into about 14 different cliques. Now, there's Happy Homes in Hacienda. I think that's a break off of Southside Puente. There's Ballista Street, which is off of Mar and Ballista Avenue. Again, Rowdy Racks and them dudes have put Ballista all the way on the map, really coming out with the music, doing they shit. Northam Street, the infamous Rama Street, Dial Avenue, and Blackwood Street, who was at the center of the internal conflict between Ballista and Blackwood. They also got the Tinflanes, who are aligned with Ballista Street. So it's a lot going on over here in La Puente. But the main situation that jumped them off was the internal conflict between Blackwood Street and Ballista Street, December 18, 2022, where we find Adrian Lopez, aka Monkey, and Dominic Ornelas, aka Dom, both from that Ballista Street clique. The feds say everything started off with some back and forth on social media, predominantly Instagram, as most shit goes. And the day before this shooting, December 17, 2022, somebody had texted Dom a picture of Blackwood Street hidden up on somebody's house in a section. Now, it's a lot of things in this indictment that's gonna serve as some do's and some don'ts. Most of the time, it's gonna be some don'ts. With these niggas going down, a lot of mistakes was made. But it started when he got that text message. He sent another message back, sending pictures of a gun and a mask that he was gonna use to get on them dudes from Blackwood Street. Now, in between that, he was also sent the address that was linked to them Blackwood Street members at a house approximately 400 feet away from East Hurst Street and Barranca Avenue. Now, this is over here in Covina. This is not in Puente, but this house is a known hangout for Blackwood Street members. And the situation over here is really a cul-de-sac with a bunch of apartments on both sides. So it looked like it's low-key cracking over here. It's a park, like a senior community park across the street, but this is where Blackwood was hanging out. So investigators found this address saved in his phone, and before the situation went down, he posted pictures on Instagram of him at this intersection about to do the move. Now, some may say, why is Blackwood and Ballista beefing? Like I said, it's some internal conflict and some bodies have dropped previously. So this is some murder beef transpiring over here between these two sections. And this is where another set of photos that's been circulating on the internet derived from this shooting right here, where Monkey and Dom jump out, lay down 24 shells at the scene, which is caught on surveillance camera, and it also catches Dom tripping and losing his shoe on the skit. Now, after the move, these dudes get blurped and they do the dash in the Benz. Lopez is driving, get up to 115 in the Benz, and he ends up getting away from them people. Now, December 30th, they caught up with the Benz and Lopez sitting in the driver's seat with two other Beliza Street members, and of course, he goes straight down. And Dom, like I said, with everything being caught on surveillance camera, he got an 8K tattoo on his hand, which stands for that P-Town Records. I would say the direct competitor to OTR and them dudes. P-Town, AK, them dudes got a lineup of some dope artists over there. Rowdy Rax, Shy Belligerent over there. Drex the Joint, I don't know if he's still over there, but he was with them dudes. Heen Beezy, F Nasty from King Cobra, and they got Tommy Guns over there. So they got a lineup over there that's rivaling the OTR movement also coming out the city. This dude Dom had an AK tattoo on his hand because he is also an artist of P-Town Records. So they glued him to the scene, kick his door in, and find the matching 9.5 shoe that he left on the scene when he tripped in his bedroom closet. And you know, the sweat in that shoe, the DNA matched up. But not only that, December 19th, the day after the shooting, he was in communication with Monkey about the shooting, and they were telling each other to make sure they delete their conversations. And he had also sent a picture to somebody of his swollen foot. Now, on surveillance, it showed him rolling his ankle at the scene, man. And you know, these dudes was wrapped up from that point. Now, if you asking how these dudes got all these text messages, we broke it down in our federal indictments before, man. Just because you deleting that phone, you can do a hard reset on the phone. The feds can extract your data, man. If you don't know what you're doing, if you're not doing your research on how they extracting data, it's best to get rid of it, because these dudes got caught with everything after the messages were deleted. So that's the situation that jumped the feds into Puente business in the first place. But they was also still doing some hot ass shit on the internet. I don't know why this Instagram movement is so crazy, but here we go with a dude named Victor Sanchez. Again, like I said, Lucky Sanchez, one of the big boys that was with Ghost when he was trying to get off on West Covina neighborhood. This is his brother Pollo. And March 15, 2023, Pollo was putting up advertisements on Instagram, advertising the sale of cocaine, and an ATF confidential informant bite on his ad. Now, to me, this is extremely wild. You know, you putting ads on the internet for guns and drugs. Somebody hit you up. He meets with this individual the next day, March 15, 2023. Now, this specific confidential informant for the ATF has been working with the ATF since 2011. A seasoned vet at snitch. He previously went down on a RICO and started cooperating. And check this. Up to this point, when he was meeting with Pollo, he had already checked $350,000 off of working as a confidential informant for the feds. So this is another day on the clock for this dude setting these dudes up over here in Southside Puente Hood. Now, when he pulls up, Pollo sends out the next individual, Isaiah Castro, aka Boy. They meet up at a hotel. Boy comes up to this dude, tells him he's from Puente Trece, and gives him his number along with some weed and powder. Why are you telling these niggas where you from? Somebody buying some shit from you. Why does where you from have to do with any of this? Niggas be on that high horse and or those drugs. So the CI comes back a week later, March 22nd, 2023. Pollo was back advertising on Instagram, but this time he promoting them blues, man, that Fetty. Now the ATF decided to switch it up. You know, that first dude came with the powder. They want somebody that wants the downer this time. They send a second confidential informant to tap in with Pollo a week after the first one. So CI2 is an ex-member. This nigga was gangbanging at one point, started cooperating in 2018, and in his 7-year tenure of working as a confidential informant, he's made upwards of $77,000 with the ATF. So Pollo shoots him his addy in Pomona this time off Monterey Avenue. And along with the blues, this time he's also advertising a pistol. So CI2 pulls up to Pomona, and instead of sending out Castro, Pollo sends out Esteban Fausto, aka Fat Boy, who introduces himself as Pollo's cousin. When the CI gets there, he didn't talk about the gun in the Instagram message. He only wanted the blues. So when he gets the blues from Fat Boy, he just happens to say, hey, I seen you had a gun on your Instagram too. What's up with that? These dudes was all for it. They put this nigga in their car. The CI jump in Fat Boy car, and 2 kids jump in with these dudes, and they slide over to 428 Jansu Place, Pomona. And you know the police is following them too. So they grabbed the gun out of this other house they went to and went back to Monterey to get the bullets. And this is when Fat Boy inserts himself even further into the indictment by giving the CI his phone number to do business. But not only that, Fat Boy had a big ass mouth. He wanted to show his battle scars. He's showing his gunshot wounds to the CI and talking about his gun preferences to this confidential informant. He also spoke about a time when him and his homies went on a mission and his homie went down because a shell casing had fell inside of his hoodie when he was getting off. How are you doing this much talking to somebody that you just met? This is insane. Man, if you knew this motherfucker for 10 years, how are we doing this much talking? And this dude just buying drugs. But it doesn't stop there. April 5th, 2023, Pollo this time reaches out to the CI and asks him if he need anything. They agreed upon a pound of meth, 1,000 blues, and another pistol. Now, Pollo jumps out and meets the CI himself this time. And you know, this dude is extremely recognizable, very heavy set individual. He's fully glued to this situation after this. But not only that, when they go to pick up the meth from the Virginia Square townhomes, the CI has the nerve to ask Pollo who is that in the car where he just got the meth from. This nigga Pollo implements his brother Lucky into the situation before that shooting took place on them West Covina neighborhood Crips. They just offered up a bunch of information to the feds, man. Advertised on social media, told these niggas whatever they wanted. You know, these dudes had physical recording devices on their person, and the feds was following them on every deal. But one thing I can say, man, these was some good homies. They was letting all they homies eat off of these confidential informants. On June 1st, 2 months after these situations transpired, Lorenzo Mejia and the individual named Puente sells the same confidential informant 2 rifles and a shotgun. 2 weeks later, Lucky, Mejia, Puente, and Castro sell them 4 more guns. 2 weeks after that, another 4 guns. This time, one with a switch. Even that individual who faced they blasted up there that said they was on the run, Brian Padilla, aka Goon, he jumped in later in the game, selling multiple guns to the feds. And in total, from March 2023 to November 2024, they served the ATF 6 different informants with 71 guns.
If you go against the game, you get knocked down. I ain't playing with you, buddy, tell him pipe down. I'm in the section right now trying to shoot some. I slid by the villas, broad day and I ain't seen none. Yeah.
And a lot of these guns were linked to an individual named Fernando Carmona. Now, they kicked in Carmona's door September 7th, 2023 off 15753 off Alwood Street in La Puente. They watched multiple guns come out of his spot and they found 7 pistols, some body armor, and almost 3,000 rounds of ammunition in this dude's spot. And Carmona is gonna be snitching. He's already said that he customizes guns for cartels in Mexico and has access to a large number of guns. This is gonna be somebody that will take the stand if they send it to trial. Why is he saying this to the police? They went back and tracked his data, triangulated his positions, caught him in Mexico doing what he said he did, along with supplying guns to the Puente members. So Fernando Carmona is clearly going to be confidential defendant number 1. But during this whole time, in the middle of this shit with the ATF, they popping at niggas and shit, they had a family affair going on July 20th through the 21st, 2023. Back again with Monkey, Adrian Lopez, his girl, who they call Snow Bella or Snow, Heather Covarrubias, his cousin, Lil D, that dude that you see with that Bentley sign on his face that's on the run, Larry Castillo, and his wife, Heather Johnson. They all get together and they kidnap 2 victims who the paperwork are calling AA and AC. Now the situation started, Lopez and his girl staying off Grapevine in San Bernardino. Lopez's girl called the police and say somebody done flocked their house. And then she recounts to the police that they gave AA the keys to the house to work on Lopez's car. They clearly didn't wait for the police to do their shit. They took matters into their own hands and snatched up AA and his female AC and set them niggas down in that house and beat AA with a 3-foot pole trying to figure out where they jewelry went. Now, AA and Lopez have known each other since they were kids. Lopez thought he had a good relationship with AA, but clearly AA did some bunk shit, ran up in his dude house. Now he's paying the price for it. Now the crazy shit, they snatch up AC, say, hey, we finna go through your house. They take her to her house. She opened up the door, they ransacked her crib, and they didn't find what they was looking for. They take her back to the spot where they still beating AA with the metal pole. And you already know they telling them, hey, we finna kill you. And they probably was finna kill him, but they clearly wanted the jewelry more than his life because they kept the interrogation going on. So with that, AA comes up with a situation where he implicates an individual named Lester. AA says, Lester got something to do with your jewelry. I think we need to pay this dude a visit. Monkey and Lil D take AA over to Lester's alleged spot, and AA presses Lester with these dudes, man. Lester and his dad start beating AA ass along with Lil D and Monkey. That's some crazy shit, man. You know, they was clearly mad that AA dropped his name. You know, AA looking like a smoker right now. They don't have his full identity out there, but this sounds like somebody that's a smoker. Especially, he's working on cars. You were comfortable enough to leave him your keys. AA's probably a smoker. But while getting his ass beat by Lester, Pops, Lil D, and Monkey, he somehow gathers himself on his feet, breaks away, runs down the street, flags down a stranger's car, and ends up getting into the back seat of a stranger's car and getting away from these dudes. And this is after they also let the female AC go because they ransacked her crib and realized she didn't have nothing. So after this, you know, AA and AC went to them people, found Lil D and his wife Instagram pages, snitched on them people, and they was wrapped up, implicated in this crime. Now, Monkey clearly wasn't satisfied. He's still looking for his jewelry. He pops back up at AA crib. They call the police, and he goes down for the shit. So you clearly see this is what was going on in Southside Puente hood, man. These dudes are in an extremely active set. There is some smoking shit going on, but I gotta say, a lot of this shit was bullshit because these dudes were telling on themselves, talking too much to undercover informants, advertising shit, everything being caught on surveillance, a lot of reckless movements over here, easy pickings for the feds, man. And 2 weeks ago, early December 2025, they started to triangulate everybody's position. They was getting everybody's phone numbers in order, looking at their data, looking where they lay their heads at night, getting ready to kick them doors in. And as you see, they clearly got most of everybody. Lil D still out there. Another dude named Sue Kang, they say is still on the run. Goon may still be on the run, but Lil D got up out of there. His girl is down right now, but he got up out of there. So we got to see how this developed with Southside Puente. Again, the feds are still outside, man. This has been all year. Y'all make sure y'all playing ball the safe way in these streets. Rap News Street Politics, we up out of here. Y'all make sure y'all stay tapped in. We coming with some shit real soon, man. Shout out to the members. Shout out to the subs. We out.